Hey, it's Justin and Bethany with the Flack fam, and today we're counting down my top 5 spurious must-dos at Fantasyland in the Magic Kingdom.
Spurious? That's an interesting word. Maybe you ought to define what you mean.
Nope. Let's just proceed and see if it defines itself.
Okay, I'm both curious and excited to see what you put on this list. I may have to throw in some honorable mentions, just because 5 must-dos doesn't do Fantasyland much justice. Why don't you kick us off?
Starting at number 5 is Memento Mori. I know, many of you are going to tell me that this store isn't in Fantasyland. Well, I argue that even though you may enter from Liberty Square, you exit into Fantasyland. So there you go, it has its place on this list.
Wow, you're pushing it, but I guess that's acceptable?
For those of you asking, what the heck is Memento Mori? First of all, what the heck is wrong with you that you didn't know?
Don't shame people.
You're right, I'm sorry. Memento Mori is a store dedicated to all things Haunted Mansion, and I love coming here to look at all the things that I would love to put in my Haunted Mansion room.
Wait, you have a Haunted Mansion room in our house?
You'll never know unless the spirits need you for some reason.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, just like Bruno, we don't talk about it.
Well, I guess this is a good place to talk about some of my honorable mentions. If you're in that area of the park, I highly recommend stopping by Peter Pan to enjoy flying over London to the second star from the right and straight on till morning, and then soaring over Neverland, rescuing Princess Tiger Lily, fighting with pirates, and ultimately watching Captain Hook attempt to escape the jaws of the crocodile. When you're done there, head across the way to take a relaxing boat ride through a chorus of children singing It's a Small World.
Okay, moving on to my number 4 pick. We're staying on the west side of Fantasyland in the Kingdom of Corona, aka the home of Rapunzel, aka the quote, cutest place to take a break. Yep, number 4 on this list is the Tangled-themed rest area and bathrooms. Come here to catch a glimpse of the stone tower where Rapunzel was held captive for most of her young life by her kidnapper, Mother Gothel, until she was saved by her criminal boyfriend, who wasn't really her boyfriend when he did it, and actually he was really reluctant to save her, but she blackmailed him into it after beating him with a cast iron fry pan, concussing and confusing him, which, let's be honest, is the foundation of all good relationships. Beth, remind me why this is a good movie?
It's the music. Just listen to the music and watch Flynn smolder.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking of the restrooms, I really like that they are decorated with the wanted posters of all the unsavory bandits from the Snuggly Duckling, and of course, fry pans. It makes for a great place to feel right at home.
That's not what the women's restroom looks like. It's decorated with all of Rapunzel's art supplies and paintings.
Well, aren't you lucky? Because that just sounds delightful to be surrounded by while you're relieving yourself.
I guess so, but instead of dwelling on that, I'm going to move on to some more honorable mentions. Get off your feet for a while at Mickey's PhilharMagic, where you can join Donald Duck as he scours the Disney universe chasing down Mickey's sorcerer's hat, which he lost after putting it on when he shouldn't have. Bonus, the fruit pie and champagne smell amazing. Next is the carousel. Make sure to find Cinderella's very own horse here. If you don't know where it is, we'll tell you. Just find the stationary sleigh, count 3 rows forward, then look to the center. You'll see her horse covered in roses. My last honorable mention, at least for now, is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train Ride. If you don't mind a bit of a wait, this is a fun and unique coaster that will take you racing through the mine and over the mountain passes back to the Dwarfs' cottage. Make sure you turn your head at the end of the ride to see Snow White dancing with the dwarves in their cottage, and don't stop looking just because your train is moving forward, because you'll see a surprise visitor knocking on the door of the cottage. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.
All right, moving on to number 3, which can be found walking away from Cinderella's castle past the carousel. Look up and off into the distance and you'll see it. If you haven't guessed it, I'm talking about Beast Castle, and by the looks of it, it's really far away. So brace yourself because you're going to be exhausted by the time you get there.
stop it. You just have to head toward Belle's cottage and then cross the bridge, and magically, you're there in no time.
You're so optimistic. Oddly enough, the enchantment must have fallen back over Prince Adam and his castle, because if you come here, you're definitely going to see Adam transformed back into the beast and the West Wing back into its tattered state. Now that I think about it, maybe it's all an elaborate scheme, because he's turned the whole place into a giant restaurant and he calls it Be Our Guest, you know, to capitalize on the theme song. It seems a bit shady, but that isn't going to stop me from coming here, because this place is gorgeous and the food is pretty good too, especially the gray stuff. Those dishes didn't lie.
Really? That's the story according to you? Justin, I think you might need some help.
You wouldn't be the first person to tell me that.
Okay, let's pause and talk about some other honorable mentions I thought of as you were ranting. The first is just past the Beast Castle, and it's a place you can grab some refreshing and filling snacks. It's Gaston's Tavern, of course, and you should definitely stop here for some LeFou's Brew, a delicious combination of apple slush with a hint of toasted marshmallow topped off with a bit of passion fruit mango foam. You should probably also grab a cinnamon roll here. They are seriously good. Just remember to bring some friends to help you finish it off. When you've had your fill at the tavern, head over to visit Scuttle and travel under the sea in a clamshell to hear the story of how Ariel and Eric fell in love despite Ursula's best efforts.
Getting back to my list of spurious must-dos, we're almost to our number one pick, but first I'm going to tell you about the must-do that came in second on my list. This must-do happens to be two must-dos, but they're fairly close to each other, so I'm counting them as one. Let's start with the wishing well on the east side of Cinderella's castle. Come here to actually make a wish, or just get the perfect footage for your next clever TikTok. You know, the one where you're tossing a coin in the well, closing your eyes to make your wish, and then having your significant other just appear and you fall into each other's arms. Trust me, it'll be the next trend once you all start doing it.
You think you're a trendsetter, huh?
I'm going to ignore that. The second stop is at Cinderella's fountain. This is another Insta-worthy spot just behind the castle. I just want to remind everyone that with both of these locations, there are some things that you absolutely should not do. First, do not hold your toddler by their ankles over the fountain pretending like you're going to drop them. You may think it makes for a good picture, but it's just not a smart thing to do. And second, do not take your shoes off and soak your feet in the fountain, no matter how bad they hurt. And whatever else you may do, do not, I repeat, do not, after you have soaked your feet with your children and stinky brother-in-law, do not fill up a water bottle in the fountain while your feet are still in there and take a drink. Seriously, do not do this, because if I see it happen again, and yes, we saw this happen, I might steal your churro.
What is with you and churros? I don't even think we've ever bought one in the park.
It's just a dream. Only my double-fisted churros crew will ever understand.
Justin, inside jokes are only funny if you let people in. Let's just talk about a few more honorable mentions. We couldn't make this video without including these classics. First is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This is a classic ride taking you through many scenes from this loved tale, which also happens to be my favorite. Next is Dumbo, the Flying Elephant. I mean, who doesn't love this ride?
Well, would you look at that? We've reached my number one pick. For this spurious must-do, you just have to head to Cinderella's castle. I suggest approaching from Main Street, but coming from the back will work as well. Get your phones out and start recording, because this must-do should absolutely be documented so you can enjoy it even after you're home. Head up the ramp toward the gate, and just inside is a series of some of the most beautiful mosaics you'll ever see depicting the story of Cinderella. If you watched our video about the land over in Epcot, you'll know that I love mosaic work, and these particular pieces are some of my favorites.
Wow, I can't believe we made it all the way to number 1. You know what? I think I have one last honorable mention. The Mad Tea Party, where you can spin until you vomit, which is why I don't ride this. I just watch Justin and the girls, but I love watching them have fun for sure.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Though I would say it's more nostalgic at Disneyland, where it sits next to the Alice in Wonderland ride.
Doesn't matter to me because I'm just standing and watching, but yes, Disneyland's area is very cute.
Well, thanks for sticking with my list of spurious must-dos in Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom. We hope you were entertained, and maybe you discovered something you want to do on your next trip.
Don't go before you've hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss another video, and leave us a comment, because we like it when you say hi. Bye!